SummerSlam Night 2 has come and gone, and Night 1 was so good that I was very nervous about what would happen on Night 2. I wasn't sure if it could live up to it, and wow, they knocked it out of the park. The first match was Finn versus Sammy. Me and Golden actually did a prediction. We didn't make a video, we didn't have time, but we made a prediction just between us, who we thought we would win. We both picked Finn to win this match, and then Nick Aldis came out. And he said there's one more participant, and we went, oh my god, Kevin Owens is coming out. And then Gunther came out, and we went, what? It's such an insane chills way to start the show, and we were so shocked, and we popped so hard. It was a great way to kick it off. They shook hands. I'm sure there's gonna be some sort of story of why that came to be on Raw. I'm really excited to find that out. And then Nick Aldis wasn't done there. He said, I didn't say just one. There's one more participant being added, and it was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is back, baby. He got into the match. It became a fatal four-way match, number one contender match. It was nerve-wracking, though, throughout the entire match, because Kevin Owens kept doing these high-risk moves after his neck injury, and every time me and Golden were just like, ugh! I love Kevin Owens. I love him doing his high-risk moves, like the Cell at Mania and like all these things that he's done. It's awesome. I love it, but I want to see him wrestle for a long time, and I would love it if he would just kind of chill on the high risk stuff and be more grounded and take care of that neck. There was a part where Finn Balor went to go pin Sami Zayn, and Gunther was supposed to break the pin up, and he almost did not make it. I say almost. He didn't make it. He broke the pin up, but like with magical powers, because he just put his hand out like that and the pin broke. So it was an awkward moment. Besides that, the entire match was so good. The entire match had me just drawn in. I loved it so much. Kevin Owens did end up picking the win. I think he pinned Sammy. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he pinned Sammy. Sammy was crying, as predicted. That's his character. He's Little Big Show. I gave that a 10 out of 10. That was such a good match. Next was Baron Corbin versus Trick Williams. They had some big shoes to fill with that match, because they started SummerSlam Night 2 off with such a bang. So Baron Corbin versus Trick Williams for the United States Championship. I thought the belt looked great on Trick Williams, by the way. When he was coming out, I was like, dang, that looks really good. Me and Patrick predicted that Baron Corbin would win this one. Little Yachty was there, so that was a good addition. he did a spot with the kendo stick, so Baron Corbin was beating on Trick Williams, and both of them kind of awkwardly stood there, and you can see Baron Corbin was like waiting for something to happen, and like Little Yachty made his little way to the other side of the ring with his kendo stick in hand, and then that's when Baron Corbin went backwards and he went yum, and that's the spot he was waiting for. So it was awkward. It was definitely a botch. The crowd was kind of dead in this match. It wasn't the most enticing match. It wasn't the most gripping match. I would say my favorite part was Lil Yachty going through the table. It was very, very nice to see him go through the table. Listen, I love his music, but get out of here. You don't be here. And then it ended with Baron Corbin picking up the win, so we have a brand new United States champion. So again, we were right with the prediction. We're geniuses, you know. I did give that a 5 out of 10 because it was it wasn't bad. There wasn't like a bunch of botching, but it also was just meh. Then to follow that up, to wake the room up, was the women's ladder match to be the interim women's champion. It was Chelsea Green versus Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill versus Lash Legend. This was probably the match I was most excited for the night. I can say the entire match I was locked in. The crowd was, I feel like, was just on their feet the entire match. The entire time, every single person in that audience was rooting for Chelsea Green. Everyone wanted Chelsea Green to win that. Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton were doing a lot of like tag team stuff. So the entire time I was like, oh man, because me and Patrick predicted that Chelsea would win this. So the entire time I was like, oh man, Chelsea's not going to win. And I think that Tiffy and her are going to be a tag team. So I thought that for sure could happen. That might actually still happen. There was a moment with Lash Legend and Tiffany Stratton in the corner. Tiffy set it up in the corner diagonally, I guess, laying on the ropes, and she was standing on the ladder and Lash Legend was on the ropes, and Tiffy was gonna go do something, but Lash Legend picked her up and like power bombed her onto the ladder, and it was a rough spot, but it was great looking. And then the crowd went crazy because Chelsea Green almost won the freaking match. She climbed up the ladder and no one was there, and me and Patrick were freaking out, right? This is our pick. And then Meechin and BFAB came out and brought her down, and we were so fucking heartbroken. That's when everyone came back in, and they put the ladders next to the middle ladder in the middle, which had Chelsea Green hanging at the bottom. And I was like, it's not over. She's hanging at the bottom. It's not over. I'm like, both ladders are going to fall. She's going to climb up and win that thing. Both ladders fell. She woke up, climbed up, and Chelsea Green is your new interim WWE Women's Champion. Oh, she finally had her moment. Everyone's been waiting for this. All right. 10 out of 10 match. I loved it. If this was the main event compared to the Oba versus Lesnar, I would have been happy. Following that was the Human Monies match. Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio. What can I say? It was a Danhausen match. Nothing to hate Danhausen. All right, I love his matches, but JD came to help Dom at some point in the match. There was really not much wrestling between Danhausen and Dom. JD came to help, and then the Many-Hausens came out and attacked JD, and that was the majority of the match. JD just started choke slamming the Many-Hausens, which was hilarious. They went high. Vic Joseph at one point, JD used his head to hit one of the Many-Hausens, and Vic Joseph said, JD with his 6 head. Okay, so if you don't know, you can use SiriusXM as like a secondary way to listen to commentating. So we got Vic Joseph and Booker T as a commentator instead of Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. So much better, way funnier. So if you do want better commentary, I would suggest that. You just sync up the pay-per-view or PLE or whatever with SiriusXM, and you can get live commentary through them. It's better. Eventually, JD beat up all the Many-Hausens, so Joe Hendry came out to help and ended up helping Danhausen get the win. He won the Human Monies, and then went around and threw the Human Monies around, and everyone was celebrating. Michael Cole was very happy. I couldn't hear him, but we could see him, and because I could see him, I could hear him, if that makes sense. I could just hear him in my head. I gave that one a 5 out of 10. I mean, again, I like Danhausen, but I'm here for the wrestling. You know what I mean? Following that was Penta versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. I had very high hopes for this match, obviously. 2 awesome wrestlers. They had a great back and forth the entire match. The crowd was behind Gable the entire time. They're basically cheering and chanting for him the entire match. They did 2 spots outside the ring in that match that made me go, ugh. It was on the hardest part of the ring, obviously. Gable did a German suplex to Penta, and that was pretty rough. But then Penta went to go do his own move to Gable on the hardest part of the ring, on the outside of the ring. He did a destroyer to Chad Gable, but he did not land it right. He just landed on himself. So it was a little bit of a botch. The rest of the match was fine. It was just the one botch. I have to. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about the botches and the moments. Okay. But after an intense fight, Chad Gable did end up picking up the win. So he is your new Intercontinental Champion. I am so glad for him. I was really wanting this. After the match, he brought his family into the ring. Well, first, before his family came into the ring, Penta did grabbed the championship from him and put the belt on him. So it was a nice little celebration. Then Gable brought his family into the ring. They were all there, his whole family. It was his kids, his wife, his mom, his dad, and the mug dog. They put a sponsorship in Chad Gable's celebration. They had to put an ad somewhere else, didn't they? They're like, hey guys, this heartwarming moment. Gable's been fighting for this spot for years. Let's put the freaking mug dog up there and have him do a stone cold with the root beer. TKO, man. Anyways, besides that, it was a 7 out of 10. And then the main event, which to me had a lot of pressure on it. Both me and Patrick were like, man, this has so much build up. Mostly, probably, I don't know if it was just us or the audience or you, but we had so much pressure on this match because of how good SummerSlam was, and also because Patrick loves both Seth and Roman. I'm on the fence with Roman. Okay, I would like to see him do other things than just be Bloodline 24/7 for how many years. Anyways, so it started with Seth coming out to the Shield sound, and then it hit his music. So that was a cool little throwback. They obviously started the match with just kind of staring each other deeply in the eyes, telling each other how much they love each other. The crowd was hyped. They were so excited for this match. So I'm glad it wasn't just me that was so excited for this. They started fighting. Again, it was slow. They ended up on the outside of the ring, and they went into the crowd, and they just walked through the crowd. And I think they were out there for 5 to 10 minutes. Seth ended up hitting Roman with like a pole or something. Where's the DQ? What? Patrick was bringing up or Golden was bringing up that like this happens often in the bigger championship matches, that like they don't really pay attention to the rules. But yeah, they were out there for like 5 to 10 minutes fighting on the audience. They put each other first. Roman put Seth through the table, and then Seth put Roman through a table. And then when they're both on the floor on the outside of the ring, after going through the audience and everything, that's when the ref was like, 1, 2. That's when he counted. And then he got to 9, and Roman got in the ring, and Vic Joseph was like, he got in there in a .9999. He had a stroke there for a second. There was a moment where, I don't remember how it got set up, but Seth went to go suplex Roman, and he couldn't really lift him up. He had him like a powerbomb situation or something, and then he went to go lift him up, and he couldn't lift him up, and so like they reset, and they went for like a standard suplex, and then Roman went to go like reverse it and land on his feet, but he just kind of fell on his butt. And then he hit him with the spear. So I would say out of that entire match, that was the only awkward spot. But everyone was on their feet for the entire thing. Roman even hit Seth Rollins with a curb stomp, so that was cool. I knew it wasn't going to end on that. It did feel like it. It felt like it was going to be close, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. There was a moment where both Seth and Roman did a callback to Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose. So first, Seth Rollins, there's a move that Jon Moxley does where he kind of like falls outside the ring and then like brings himself back up and clotheslines. There's a name for it. I just don't remember what it's called. But Seth did that as a callback to Moxley. And then right after that, Roman did his own callback by doing Moxley's finisher, which, again, I don't remember the name of it. The Dirty Deeds. Roman did the Dirty Deeds as a callback to Moxley, so it was really cool for them to try to like include him in this match. It would have been cool if they could have worked with AEW in some way just to bring him back for this at least. I think that would have been cool. Just like Mania, when he was all geared up and Seth Rollins was all geared up in the Shield outfit, but they did actually do a callback to the Shield moment too, when Seth turned on the Shield with the chair shot. He went to go do it, and Roman turned around and punched him before he could do it, and then Seth was in the same position, and Roman had his chance to do it, and he put down the chair, and he was like, no, just you and me. So it ended up costing Seth the win because Roman picked up the win in a clean fashion. There was no interruptions. It was a clean fight. And I'll be honest, that made me really like this match. I'm so sick of every single Roman match ending in some sort of bloodline interruption. So it was nice to see a difference. After Roman picked up the win, they kind of just sat in the ring for a moment, staring at each other, and Roman stood up and put his hand out as a Shield reunion moment. Seth got up with his mask that he wore to the ring, which was, I believe, is the same kind of mask that Dean used to wear coming, although I think his was like a cloth, but still. When they put their hands together as a Shield reunion moment, Seth put the mask in the middle, and I'm saying it's a callback to Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose. I'm going to give that match a 10 out of 10. I wasn't going to give it a 10 out of 10. If there was an interruption, I was going to drop it to a 9. But no, that was a 10 out of 10. This entire night 1 and night 2 were so freaking good. And if you didn't remember what I gave night 2, or sorry, what I gave night 1, I rated night 1 a 9 out of 10. I'm giving night 2 a 10 out of 10. Because like every match on this was fantastic. I will say there was 2 5 out of 10s on this match, this card, so maybe it shouldn't have been a 10 out of 10, but I will say overall, both night 1 and night 2 are a 10 out of 10 together. It was fantastic. This was one of the better PLEs that I've seen from WWE in a very long time. I was entertained throughout the entire thing. There wasn't a moment where I was like, God, I want to turn this off. Believe me, there's been plenty of them that I wanted to. This was not one of them. I predicted basically every match correctly, which usually makes me not enjoy, the show. I'm trying just to enjoy the actual wrestling and not the booking. But man, they did great. I think the Chelsea Green thing really is what made it the night, honestly. That made it so good. But if they can keep it up like this, if they can make sure that Chad Gable doesn't lose momentum and really puts him forward, that'll be great. Same thing with Baron Corbin, because right now he's the new United States champion. If they just give him the belt and just kind of drop him again, what was the point of it? So hopefully they give him a push as well. Hopefully Chad Gable starts coming out with the mug dog. That'd be freaking hilarious. It's just his new mascot. Anyways, yeah, great night. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Again, both nights 10 out of 10 for me. I know the Hell in a Cell was a big letdown. Brie Bella got injured in night 1. I was going to make a video updating on what happened, but I haven't heard what has happened yet. I don't know if they found out yet, but Nikki Bella on a video that a fan made was saying that it's not good. So we'll find out what happens. When I hear what happens, I'll make a short 2-3 minute video talking about it. But besides that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you Tuesday for Raw. Later.